Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets with Craig Lunn back again. Silicon Satan been revealing a lot on the Luciferian trying to control the world, and they struck back. So we're going to talk about that. And Craig, so glad to see you. You kind of went through a little, I don't know if they're trying to perform a ritual on you or what happened there, but we're glad to have you back.
It's good to be back. I'm still a little woozy, so bear with me here.
Yeah, tell us
Still a
what
little bit
happened.
shell-shocked. Well, I got arrested on assault second degree and attempted escape third degree. And I was injured during the arrest and was admitted into the hospital overnight. They wanted to do a surgery, but I didn't want to do it there at that particular hospital. So they just scooped me up and took me to the jail. They wouldn't give me my meds. I mean, I understand that. They really can't. I mean, I brought my meds with me, but they don't know what I've done to them. So they had to go through their procedure to get their doctor to verify the meds and then go to their pharmacy to get them. And that could take days. And I need my meds, like, daily.
Yeah.
So while I was in there, my blood pressure kept rising, and it got to 196 over 145. And my heartbeat was at 98. And I went into a seizure. And that's when they put me in front of the judge, got the bail, and got me out of there. And so now we've got to, we were in the process of trying to move out of this place because of the problems here that Washington State has with the homeless and the drug addicts and their policies. Normal tax-paying person will get arrested for not paying property taxes, but the squatters up here can sit on a piece of property that hasn't had taxes paid for 8 years, and nobody does anything. Meanwhile, they're building Tijuana-style shanty towns all over this mountain. And it's been an ongoing struggle for us for the last 10 years to try to get something done. And we realized nothing's going to get done. And so we're in the process right now. We've spent most of our life savings buying and building these 2 tiny homes for us and our daughter. And we're making plans to get out of here. And then they've kept us here for a while. So I have to bear through it. But, to be honest with you, whistleblowers need to understand that this is probably going to happen. These kinds of things are probably going to happen. And you should be prepared mentally more than anything. To be honest with you, I wasn't really quite as prepared as I thought I was. And it's taking a toll on me and my family to the point that we're not desperate, but we're very, very terrified at this point. In fact, the cops are back up here this morning.
Wow.
I mean, they could show up at any time and harass us. I mean, I understand they're doing their job, but not everybody's a tyrant. But there's a lot of tyrannical forces in the world, not just here but everywhere. And when you face it, it's pretty terrifying because you hear about it, but when you come face to face with it, it's a whole different act.
Yeah, you would hope that show like this will get to those guys. They'll watch it and just say, "No, we're not gonna press this anymore. This is BS." Washington State. You got the communists taking over that state. Seattle, you got a communist mayor, just like we're seeing in New York and all this. But this is part of the deep state, agenda. The multi-billionaires that you talk about in Silicon Satan are trying to really destroy not just our country. They destroy our country, the world's gone, but the world in general.
Yeah, right. Again, their plan is to take over the world, like any mad scientist. Take over the world, kick God out of it, and run it themselves. And as crazy as that sounds, they have a pretty good plan if they can pull it off. If they can get this technology to work the way they hope, then they stand a pretty good chance. But of course, God will always intervene, like He did at Tower of Babel. When they get too close to fruition, He'll jump in and screw it all up for them. But the other problem I think they're having is that technology is going faster than they can debug it. So half the stuff, I don't know if you have this problem, but half the stuff I buy now doesn't work. Right? There's like a 50% return rate. And that's because people are trying to shove, I was in software development for years back in the day, and we were very careful about bugs, sending stuff out too early. We would delay things, even if it meant, even if it cost us, though, on the bottom line. These days, everybody's just shoving things out the door, and you really don't know what you're getting. They don't know what they're putting out even sometimes. And, you got these guys saying, like Sam Ullman saying, "Well, we don't even really know how it works." And I think that's not as nefarious of a statement as it sounds. I think he's actually being honest, because they don't know how it works, because nobody really understands that. You have all these modules thrown together, all these pieces thrown together, and you hope it's going to work. It's kind of like the Hubble Space Telescope, when they sent it up and it didn't work. And it's because I was working for Keck Telescope at the time, so we had a lot of insider info. But the reason why it didn't work is because they never did a system test. They did regression tests on all the components. So each component, that team has a set of specs that they're trying to go by. And when they meet those specs, they're done. Then they hook everything up together, and they never test it. Never put light in one side to see what came out the other side. They just sent it up, and it was blurry because it didn't work. And that's just, I think that's what the Lucy's are kind of running into, and that's why they're panicking so much. There's this big push, 2030 is coming. They have a lot to do between now and then. A lot of bodies to bury.
And you're you, me, and so many others are trying to expose them as fast as we can to slow them down and trip them up, and they're obviously not liking that. And they push back on us. We all of us that are in the truther community, the real truthers, the ones that aren't truthers, seem their channels keep growing. They get more money and all kind of crazy stuff, but we're going to massively suppressed. So that should be a good sign for everybody. So a show like this, you want to really push it out there, because the algorithms are being manipulated on a massive scale to suppress this kind of information.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think still there's too many people that are asleep. There's still too many people watching football and going to McDonald's. So it's I'm on your side. I'm on your team, but our team is small, and we don't have the kind of resources that the Lucy's have. So all we have, in my opinion, is the power of God, and whatever that means to everybody. I mean, everybody knows as a version of what I'm talking about. But we really need to, at this point in humanity, rely on that power that is afforded us. It's been given to us. Let's use it. Let's use the power of prayer and all the rest.
Yeah, I mean, the power of prayer is incredible. Before the show, you reached out to me, and you're like, you've never done a Give Send Go before. And so you started one up because of your legal expenses, and I talked to you before the show, you got a really good lawyer that's going to it's a good lawyer, not one that's going to take your money and screw you over, that knows the law and is going to help you. So that costs money. I mean, you have a book. You used to be a multimillionaire. You walked away from that because you had to. Otherwise, you're going to do what these guys do, and you weren't going to play that game. So, thank you so much for doing that and exposing all this. We wouldn't know this on the level that we do now if it wasn't for you. I know it was very hard for you, like you talked about for years. I'll write this. I was the same as you. I'm gonna speak out, and then I don't think so. And then I'm gonna do it, and then back and forth, and then God helps you, and then you finally do it, like I did. But they come after you. You've had experiences where they've come after you, and they just recently did. I was on the Pacific Crest Trail one time when I walked away from that, deep state organization, and a little white helicopter with no lights, no markings, totally blacked out, flew alongside me when I was on this one mountain trail that was like, if I fell, I would be in a ravine and it would ever find me. And then it started hitting me with a heart attack machine over and over and over. So they do these types of things to us that they feel threatened by. The thing that keeps us safe and helps us is exposing like you're doing and like I'm doing. But it's still a risk. It's still a massive risk. So you're doing the Give Send Go. I saw that. It was your first link. And I was like, well, I'm gonna set the example. And so I sent some money just after you and your wife basically were doing a prayer, and you said amen, and then 2 seconds later my
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, we were right in the middle of our morning prayers, and we were praying for, this attorney. I didn't want to go cheap because there's a lot of things, there's a lot of revelations I want to get out, and this might be a good catalyst for doing that. So I wanted to make sure I got a good attorney. I've had a DUI and stuff in the past, and I went with the mediocre attorneys, and it didn't work. It didn't work out well. They basically took the money and did nothing. And then I've had some issues with, civil issues with property and stuff. The same thing. I went not cheap, but not high end. But this time I need to go high end because I need good representation. When people say, "Well, who is the they?" It's like, well, there isn't a group, one particular group. There's their side and then there's our side, and their side has a lot of people, and our side does. And those certain members of that side may take it upon themselves to attack me for what I'm doing. It doesn't mean that they went up the chain of command and got an okay from a general or something. It doesn't work like that. It's just some guys on that side got together and said, we got to do something about this guy. And you can tell by what they do. Like if they just write a bad review, they're low level. But if they do something like manipulate a short that you sent out to give me a message, and that means it's moving up. My target is getting bigger. And now this. So, I'm not claiming right now that the two are connected, but it's a possibility.
Yeah, totally, it's a possibility. So, I mean, how much you reveal is very, very crucial. You only give so much reveal, that is, and you wait sometimes and see how that works, and then sometimes you hold back. I know you're probably holding back a massive amount, as I am, because if you give too much out there, then like what you just got, they'll hammer you. So you have to play this game with them. It's a cat and mouse type game.
Right. By the way, I want to go back to our morning prayer. My wife and I were having our morning prayers, and we were praying for for the resources to hire this attorney. That we were able to hire her, but now we're pretty strapped at the point at this moment. But we're in our morning prayers. We said amen, and then the computer dinged. I went on and looked at it, and it's like, oh, somebody just sent a donation, and it was you. So thank you very much. It's not just the money; it's the show of support that's more important to us than anything. We don't want to feel alone.
When I was deciding, to do that, I was my end. I was how should I do this? Should I do it now? How much and so forth in it? And that's good. Okay, so then I sent it, and then you came back with a really nice response. That was beautiful. Thank you for that response. I've never gotten anybody respond back to me, so I get to a lot of people. So that was beautiful. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to respond to everybody that
decides
that. Anybody and everybody wants to help. Anybody and everybody wants to help us. I will.
Yeah, right. Every little bit makes a difference, and then we have a very generous audience. So hopefully, they step up and help you out, because what you're doing is for all of humanity. They want to take humanity down so that humanity doesn't have any clue of what's going on, and they're suppressed more and more and more. So we're helping to bridge a gap in consciousness and knowledge that very few people are willing to step up and do. It's very, very rarefied air where we're at, but I think a lot of people support well, I know they do. They support us quite a bit, so it's good.
Yeah, it's even if somebody just gave $5, it's just a show of support. And so us knowing that there's people back there that are watching our back is more than anything. That's more important more than anything. We've always been isolated, always been alone. I'll admit that over the last few months I've gotten pretty cocky with myself, thinking that I'm untouchable now. They'll never come after me now, and boom. So what you were saying earlier is right on. You gotta time this. You gotta be careful and try to stay one step ahead of them.
Yeah, and I in the chat I'm giving the Give Send Go because people are asking for it, but also in the description box they will give the Give Send Go too. So it started. Hopefully it'll increase. Now I know you're on other shows. You You've been on my show. You've been on Nino's show. What other shows have you been on?
John Pounders, Sean Atwood.
Oh yeah, Sean
Pete Simpson.
Atwood. Yeah, absolutely. And I remember I saw you on Sean Atwood's show, and they were like trying to swat you while you were on the show, weren't they?
Yeah. I got swatted. Yeah. Well, it's not exactly swatted. The SWAT team didn't come up here, but yeah, we got interrupted. I'll say we interrupted. And then that's happened a few times. And then, like I said, they came up here again this morning. Made me nervous as hell. But my wife dealt with them, and I was able to do this show. I was afraid they were going back to jail for some reason. She's out there talking to him. I'm in here on my knees praying.
Oh yeah. So I know it's tough, and what you're sharing is incredible. So your book Silicon Satan. Last time we were on together, you kind of went deep. You went a lot deeper than I think you've ever gone, and that's kind of where the pushback came from. So I know your second book's coming. This will be I know it's going to take a little time for that to come out, but what a great timing for that book to come out when it does in the next few months or however long it is, because that'll help with the sales. And when you get a couple books out that are similar, that pushes really good. And to let everybody know, it's in Audible. I've listened to it in Audible. It's very hard for me to sit down and read a book these days. But I travel a lot, so I was able to listen to that book. You may have to listen to that book on earpods.
Bible on your lap.
AirPod, yeah. Otherwise, people around you might get offended or might not like what's being disclosed. So just be aware of that.
The truth is hard, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I wrote that book hard on purpose because I wanted the reader to understand the world out there that I was in. I could have sugarcoated it, but what good would that have been? In fact, to be honest, I did sort of sugarcoat it because the editors didn't like the original version, so I had to go back and edit it. And the second book I was shooting for October, but now with this, I'm not going to be able to finish it in time. But frankly, I want to change it because it's based on my life, right? And my life is changing, so I need to go back and kind of integrate some of these new revelations and some of the things that have been happening into the book, because it all makes sense. It all makes sense. It's not random, and it's not it's not delusion. It's real.
Yeah.
And everybody needs to prepare. I was kind of unprepared for this. I'm not going to be unprepared any longer, but everybody needs to prepare for something like this coming their way, especially if you're a truther, especially if you're digging for the truth and you're not accepting the narrative. You need to prepare, not necessarily with guns and food and gold, but mentally, spiritually. You got to be strong. I thought I was, and I realized I've got some weaknesses I got to work on.
And that's a good point. I was about to say, God is going to continually test us, and we'll see how committed you are. And here you are. You're back at it. So I think this is fantastic. It's again, you have to learn that to be discriminating on what to reveal and what not to reveal. Probably names.
Yeah, well,
probably names not so good.
Yeah, names are not so good anymore. But we never get tested the way and when we want, right?
Yeah.
It's always a surprise.
Absolutely.
And when you get tested like that, it's because you have a weakness, right? If you get a surprise test and it hurts, and that's a wake up call. That's God telling you need to work on your spiritual side or your patience or whatever it is. That's my opinion.
Very good. All right, so these guys are still going forward with their plans.
Oh yeah,
we're at a point where I think there may be election still revealed, and that's really going to upset them because they can't stay in power without placing people in power that allow them to do the things they do. So the election is very, very sacrosanct to them. So they want to control that, and it looks like there may be some elections still revealed that are coming up. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think the big. I don't think they really care, but the big problem they have is that revealing election fraud and things like that is a crack in the dam, and it could, could open the eyes of certain people who are just sort of sheep walking around half asleep. They might see that one thing, and that's the crack. That's all that they needed to want to see more, right? And the dam comes down, and the information floods in, and they're overwhelmed. But that's the way it is. That's the way. That's a good thing. So I think that a lot of these issues to them are very small. When you're trying to take over the universe and kick God out of heaven, things like election integrity isn't a big deal. But they needed that to get to the place that they are. So to have that rebuild is just a small little piece of evidence that some people might need to wake up. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I never thought about that. I thought that once they reveal, it's a done deal, but they don't really care. I mean, they're going to manipulate and they're going to control probably going forward, regardless of what happens. But if the information becomes a flood, they can't control it, like you said, and that disturbs them. That's interesting. Kind of like what they're trying to do with you. They can't control you, and so they're trying to, because you're basically creating a bigger crack in the dam.
Right.
Now I understand. That's good.
Dogs are barking. It makes me nervous. I've got some good dogs up here.
They know what's going up. Geez. So yeah, you need to like take a little trip somehow. Might be a good timing.
Sorry, I was going to say the last time I was in jail was a DUI in Tahoe City, and man, that was a nice jail. They brought me coffee in the morning.
Wow.
This place I was just in is hell. I mean, it's like I didn't realize it was so bad. It's really bad.
Wow.
I mean, not everybody's a tyrant. There are some good people, but there are a lot of tyrants in the world today.
Yeah.
There was some good. Sorry, the med staff in the jail were very good. Let me say that. They did not want me there. They needed to get me out because I was going to die on them. Right?
Well, good for them to at least give you a little bit of mercy on that end. We would like to see that from the beginning. They see your name and like, yeah, we're not going to do that one again. All right. You guys lied to us about him. So hopefully they do their homework and find out that you're not a threat, and some of the charges against you maybe are false. So I guess that's up to you.
I mean, it's always a possibility, right? It's always a possibility.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you see going? What do you see going forward? You've talked about this in the past. Near term, what do you see?
What do you mean? In what context are you talking about?
In context, as far as like or the riots in the streets, or some kind of space alien invasion, or
so if you study hypnosis, there's a technique where they can scare you instantly into hypnosis, right? If you look into it, I mean, you have that kind of background, right? You can kind of like jolt somebody right into a hypnotic state. I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to do something to humanity that jolts most of us into a hypnotic state. It's going to be something very horrible, something very, very scary. The Bible talks about it. The Bible says men's hearts will fail them. I mean, I think that's just a way of saying that people are going to be scared shitless, and they may go into a withdrawal mode. Thank you, Blue-Eyed Bandit 17. I like that, Blue-Eyed Bandit 17. I mean, there must be 16 other blue-eyed bandits then, right?
That's good. Yeah, so that's interesting. So any idea what that could be? So I mean, if we
lots of ideas.
It would probably be forced to do something else. But what are your thoughts?
Well, there's lots of possibilities. They may do one or two or all of them all at the same time. I mean, you could do the whole alien invasion thing. You could do the monsters from the pits thing. You could do another plague thing. At this time, people are dying left and right, and there's no cure. I mean, there's all kinds of things they could do. They could do a sun. They could do a blackout. Most people would go hypnotic and brain dead during a blackout. their whole world would shut down. You talk about these people in the inner cities and even in the suburbs, they rely on, up here we make our own electricity. We have to deal with our own water. We have to deal with our own sewage. People down there aren't used to that. They flush the toilet and it's gone, right? What happens if that stops? What's your backup plan? What's your backup plan if the electricity shuts off? So up here we've learned to always have redundant systems, always have backups, and always have, I try to have three different, my main system, and then a backup system, and then a fallback in case, all hell breaks loose, whatever that is. And that's kind of thinking everybody needs to have right now, because we're entering a state in humanity where it's going to be a fight to the death. I think, it seems obvious at this point. To me.
Yeah,
for the guy down there.
Because I'm looking at the midterm elections, and I think both sides are very polarized. If one side has a better, outcome than the other, there's probably going to be some uprisings.
Probably. On both sides, actually, at this point. I don't think no matter who wins. Okay, my opinion is no matter who wins, there's going to be riots, and no matter who wins, nothing's going to get done. It'll be status quo, like it always is. I don't mean to be a pessimist, but that's just my worldview right now, based on what I've been to the last week.
Interesting. So somebody said that the link in the show that I just posted works, but the one that I put in the description doesn't. So I'm going to change that right now. So while we're talking, so talk away, so I can focus a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll talk about. Yeah, it's very humbling to have to do a GoFundMe. Very humbling, but it's a good lesson. It's a good lesson in humility. Like I said, I was walking around getting kind of pretty arrogant with myself, because I felt like I was pulling this off, and people are reading the book, and people, I think I've opened up quite a few people to what really goes on. I think that the message is spread. Now I'm in a situation where I have to, cover my ass for doing that, and the legal system, I wouldn't say it's broken, but it sure is expensive. There's definitely a two-tier legal system, just like two-tier medical. I'm trying to get into that top tier because I'll have the best luck or the best results if I can get there. And that's what the Give Sin Go is all about. I need to get that kind of representation in order to do the things that I need to do from this point. I walked into this knowing the potential for trouble, but I never really expected it. And now here it is. So now I have to deal with it. And I can't hear you. Oh, your mic is off. Anyway, so anyone who has been in this situation,
in the description, I captured it from I have a crew that does work for me, and their link was defective, unfortunately. I guess maybe it's because of when I transferred it over, but anyway, it's fixed now. So thank you guys in the chat for discovering that. So appreciate that. So when you do shows, you get responses, I'm sure. Like you can look at book sales and people responding to you in different ways. You do my show, you do Nino's show, and Sean Atwood. Sean Atwood, I would feel, because he's got a very, very large audience. I've had him on a show before, way back when I had a large audience of subscribers before they canceled me. So I'm still building back my channel. But when you're on these shows and you get a lot of views, what kind of responses do you get? I think because you're doing a Sean Atwood show, that's when they tried to swat you, because you're getting a lot of views then. Like a show like mine, you're kind of like a little bit under the wire, but you're still getting out there.
Yeah. So mostly the responses are very positive. Most responses, I'd say 85% of them are very positive. Another, 10% are kind of negative, and the other 5% obviously didn't even read the book. They just read the first few chapters and said, "This is a terrible book." And I wrote in the preface, "This book is not for everybody." So my opinion is that book is not for them. They shouldn't have ever bought it. But In fact, I'll even refund them. Well, if I could. But book sales usually bump when I go on like your show or really any show, even shows that people never heard of. Book sales will bump, and that's good. But you really can't. I don't. When I was young, if you wrote a book, you were a million. You became a millionaire. These days, if you write a book, you're one of 10 million. Right? There's really not a lot of. There's really not. You can't really make a livelihood writing books, and I didn't. That's not why I wrote this book, for the royalties. Yeah. And the royalties are very, very minimal. I mean, I spend that much on dinner. But it's what more. My measure of success is how many books are sold and how many positive reviews there are. And so far, it's holding at a 4.0. If those people that shouldn't have read the book didn't give it a 1 star, then it'd probably be a lot better. But it goes with the territory, right? The second book will be a lot easier to read and a lot more descriptive and a lot more disturbing. I don't mean like pornography disturbing or that kind of thing, but I mean sort of disturbing in that this has gone on for so long and they've been getting away with it for so long that here we are and it's to be hell to get back out of it.
Yeah, so revealing. And I felt the first book was revealing.
Even if the Lucys quit today, it's going to take humanity 2 generations to recover.
I totally agree. And to find them, because they're heavily embedded everywhere, it's going to take a long time to root them out completely.
Yeah.
But I think
if their source of power is gone, if Lucifer himself is chained and locked away, then they have nothing. They have no hope. They have no power. They have no insider information.
Yeah. Yeah, very good point. So, in your first book, it was incredibly revealing. The stuff on Hawaii was like blew my mind. I was like, holy smokes. And then I was like, well, gosh, that makes so much sense. All of the top elite are buying up Hawaii, Maui, and, some people bought their own islands. Right? So we won't name names, but there's a lot of the elite that are out there.
It's public record. Larry Ellison owns his own Hawaiian island. He owns Lanai. I mean, every man wants to own an island, right? But who gets to own an entire Hawaiian island?
And not just a little one. We're talking hundreds of acres.
One of the nice ones. One of the nice, very nice island. And no telling what's down in those lava caves.
Yeah. So I've talked about the Big Island. I've had some military types that do submarine stuff, and they've told me some, how there's in the sea, there's channels that go into the submarines into the Hawaiian, the Big Island, and there's people told me about UFOs that are like faster than anything we have that travels in the air, jet fast, and in groups flying through the water. So that's reveals that they don't like out there, but because when I revealed that many years ago, they took down that video. So now we can talk about it though, because you start revealing like you have, it's like you're like the point man. You're moving forward. It's dangerous work. You could spring an ambush or something like that, but you're being as aware as you can so that doesn't happen. And then everybody comes behind you, and then you have the force, the group, all of us here watching that move forward, and we own that then, and they can't get it back.
Right, exactly. I lived in Hawaii for years, and the reason why, and I wrote the process control system for the dome and shutters of the Keck telescope up there, and the reason why they have so many, if you look at the top of Mauna Loa, there's all the biggest, most expensive telescopes are up there. Most of them. There's a lot. I think it was 12 now.
Wow.
Keck being the most high tech. Keck is actually a 2 telescope, so you can get sort of like a binocular vision kind of thing. But anyway, while I was there, we did a lot of exploring, did a lot of scuba diving in the lava tubes. And we did a lot of we hooked up with a group that was treasure hunting, not for profit, but to protect the natural resources, the treasures of Hawaii, because there's a lot of bad treasure hunters who are going in and grave robbing the lava tubes where a lot of the li'i are buried, with their cloaks and their canoes and all their artifacts. But there's not the reason why the telescopes are in Mauna Kea is because the sky is so clear. You're in the middle of the ocean. There's no light pollution from nearby cities,
right?
And there is water vapor diffraction, but the telescopes are at 14,000 feet, so they're above all that. So you've never seen a sky like you can when you're at the top of Mauna Kea on a clear night looking up. It's weird. It's odd. There's things flying around all over the place. It looks like you're looking at a telescope at pond water. There's all these little things squirming around all over the place. That's what the Hawaiian sky looks like.
Wow.
Especially if you have night vision. With night vision, it's you feel like you start getting woozy. Like, what am I looking at?
Yeah, I've had a guy on my show that was a former Air Force guy, and he's the one that told me about the fleet of UFO types that were scooting through the water there when he was on top of Mount Loa. What is it called? Mount Loa.
Mauna Kea.
Mauna Kea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, and it gets snow up there. So Hawaii gets snow. It's crazy. But sometimes they get a lot.
The only blizzard I've ever been in my life was in Hawaii.
Wow.
Blizzard. Yeah. I walked out of the observer, out of the building, heading for the truck, and I got lost. I couldn't find the truck. And it was just by chance that I'm walking around and say, oh, there's the building. So I went back in. But yeah, we had to pull on. We used to go up there, ski in the morning, and then pack an ice chest full of snow, go down to the beach and surf. So we could ski and surf all in the same day. Just to say, it wasn't great skiing, it wasn't great surfing, but we got to say we did it. But anyway, the reason why the elites really like Hawaii is because Hawaii is one of the only successful cannibalistic societies in history. All other cannibalistic societies tend to implode on themselves, but Hawaii had it all figured out. The elite had it all figured out, and that's how they lived. People want to claim that's not true, but all you got to do is read some history books, and they talk about Captain Cook being eaten on the beach of I can't remember, Lapahoihoi. No, that's the wrong beach. It starts with that. Anyway, Hawaiian name, but big. But because of that, there's a certain thickness of demons on those islands because of the history of torture and cannibalism and baby rituals and the luau's and clue a pig and all that. It all goes back to some really nefarious things. Clue a pig was not pig originally. There was no pigs on the island. So what do you think it was? What do you think they were cooking and eating? What it's not hard to figure out. So they're attracted to that. They feel comfortable there, and that's why they want to be there and build. I mean, why would you want to be there? It's because of the spiritual, the demonic spiritual activity that is still there, that they relish, that makes them feel comfortable. I mean, there's no other reason why they would be there. It's just property. Otherwise, it's hard to get to, and it's kind of a pain sometimes, and you got to worry about hurricanes and.
Yeah, that's incredible. So you kind of covered that book, and that was extremely revelatory. And then I started doing research, and you were correct. And of course, they try to cover that up and discount it. And of course, you have to learn how to just look through the BS that they have online. And when you do, then you see through the BS and you start to see the truth. But yeah, that's the even deeper insights. So I appreciate that, and hopefully everybody sees that too. Still, the link is not working. I don't know if it's YouTube or what, but I'll figure it out. It's working in the chat, so almost stick it in the chat again, guys. I guess some of you guys have been giving in the chat, so that's great. I'll figure out what's going on with this link. It could be something that it'll work, and then it won't. So if it's ever not working, I got some people that check this stuff out. So let me know, guys. You guys that are monitoring the sites and so forth, appreciate that. So they're all going to Hawaii. Are they going to Hawaii because they think that everything's going to go bad here in the United States?
No, I think they go there for retreat and respite. So they go where they feel the most comfortable and most protected, where they can get away with, the crimes that they do, pretty out in the open. I mean, I was there at one point, and it was right out in the open. They were doing a ritual, and it was right there on the beach. Any tourist could have. Well, it's kind of a long ways from the highway, but it's possible that somebody could have stumbled in, kind of thing. So they go there. They go there. They buy property there. They live there because that's the place where they get the most energy, most demonic energy, and they can get away with so much there because they own it. Right? When you own an island, you own the police force. You own everything.
Yeah, kind of like Washington State, huh?
Kind of like, yeah. There's a weird connection between Washington State and Hawaii. Hawaii, Alaska, and Washington all have this weird connection.
Huh.
I haven't quite figured it out yet, but I will.
So there's obviously always some kind of spiritual energy involved in that. They'll come in, like here in Lake Tahoe. I know there's people there, and people are like, they're all, Larry Ellison's here. He's buying up these properties and he's converting them. And I'm like, guys, do a little research. Come on. So
just a little bit.
Lake Tahoe has incredible energy, and I'm trying to protect that, right, with my own very good energy. But they're trying to compromise that, unfortunately, and I think they might. But that's something that you've seen, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why he's got such an interest in Tahoe. I can see what he owns, both of Malibu and most of probably all of Silicon Valley now. I did a extensive research on how many companies he's procured over the years, and the list is so long that even when I scroll it so fast you can't read it, it goes on for 5 minutes. Good. It's like every company, every software company you've ever heard of is in the list. So
you think it's all his money, or is there a combination of billionaires that are involved in that?
I'm sorry, what? Say that again.
Do you think it's all his money that's doing all that, or are there consortium of billionaires that are doing this? Because I think the billionaires are trying to control. Obviously, we talk about how they're trying to control the world, but America and companies and so forth. It's just a conglomeration of these guys, right?
Right. So at that level, he has a lot of freedom to make his own decisions. He's not exactly a puppet. He's not exactly a master either. He's sort of at that level. They're kind of in two worlds.
Yeah,
they're puppets over in excuse me, in Lucifer's world, but they're masters over in our world.
Right.
Whereas most of the players that you see, Pelosi, that kind of level, those are just strictly puppets. They're just doing the bidding. They're getting rich off of it, and that's all they care about. Oh, and they think that they're going to live forever as well. I mean, even if they did pull this off, I think some of these people are being fooled into thinking that they get to go too. It's like one of those things where, okay, you were useful for a while, we don't need you anymore, bye.
And you would think they would see that, because there's so many that seems like they use them and then they abuse them and they're out.
You would think it must be a tough life to live that precariously, thinking, okay, I'm going to get to live forever, or maybe not. If I slip up, I'm going to lose it. I mean, they may as well worship God. It's a lot easier, and the payoff's a lot bigger.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yep. So I mean, you're still revealing big. So hopefully you're able to continue on this. I think this is a good line right here for you. Hopefully we get you back on Nino and all the way up the chain again.
I'm scheduled to be on Sean Atwood tomorrow.
Good.
John Thomas on Monday.
Love his work. He's really trying to put this stuff out there. So good.
And I'm supposed to be on Nino sometime, but we haven't set the date yet. So I'm trying to get back out there. And it's a good time to promote the book again. Not for the royalties, but to get the word out, get the message out. And I mean, again, I need help. I really need help with this
good.
attorney.
I'm watching, and they're coming in. They're helping out. So thanks everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you. much.
That's fantastic, and hopefully that continues. And you go to Sean Atwood's; he's got a huge audience. I hope they stock you up as well. We get to your goal. That's I think that's a small goal, but every little bit helps up to that point. And you guys that can't afford it, pray. Prayer is also incredibly valuable, guys. Almost as much, if not more.
Probably more in my world. And the amount we're asking for is just the down payment.
Yeah. Wow.
Then there's high monthly fees, but that's okay. I don't mind. I need to do this right. I need to do this well.
Right.
I need the kind of resources it takes to do that. This kind of work. And they'll write all about it.
Yeah.
I've never wanted to write so much in my life. I was very reluctant to write the first book. Now I have like 10 more I want to go.
Oh, good. Yeah, definitely a series. Because it could go on. Because I know you've got a lot of info, and think as you're talking about, as things evolve, then you're seeing a bigger picture. Pieces of puzzle come together for you. You understand more. Going on these talk shows, when you talk, it seems to like open your creative aspect, and things start to come in more. So that's good too. And you're revealing because God wants you to reveal, and God is going to continue to like inform you and help you. So that's good.
Yes.
Doing God's work. So it's sometimes it can be a little challenging, like you've told us. So that's fantastic, Craig. What else do you see as far as going forward? You talk about possibility. Now I think you're right about, because I'm already started to experience it. I've never seen the type of pressure on the internet and getting information out that I'm seeing right now. It's looks like we got a little bit of headway, and now it's really coming back, and it's pushing back more than I've ever seen it. Even during the COVID days, at least they have let us keep our channels now. But same thing happening to Nino. I see his shows getting hammered. Another buddy's Scott McKay. He's basically getting hammered as well. So a lot of us are getting hammered. So I think you might be right as far as the internet going down. Now a lot of people are like, I can't wait till they have the 10 days of darkness or 3 days of darkness or 4 days of darkness, whatever it is. I don't think that's a good idea, personally.
Well, I think a lot of people think that if 10 days, 3 days, whatever, it's gonna wipe out these data centers and these AI machines. It's not. I've already looked into it. 10 days of darkness isn't going to work. These things are just Grok, for instance, is running a supercluster called Colossus. It's out of Memphis, Tennessee, but it's mirrored all over the place. So if you take that one down, it just does, the redundant one comes up. Take that one down, the other one comes up. Same thing with the data centers. They're all over the place, and they're very robust. The only weakness that I can find in their entire security system is human management. In their line of defenses, you will run into human management. We rely on human management to solve this. Well, that's our door in. We got to get to those guys. Get them to wake up, get them to understand what the power that they have, and get them to shut it off. And that's the only way I can think of. And I think that's one of the things I'm going to write about. In fact, if you look at my X account, I have it pinned at the top, so a little excerpt kind of along those lines of Raj and Wally trying to shut down the AI that's running the world at that point. The next book is kind of going into the future. The first book takes the reader from how it started to now, and the second book was going to be like from now to what I believe is going to occur. I'm trying to make it more of a prediction kind of book than what happened. It's going to be this way. And by the way, so there's a term called chasing the herd, where you get certain animals that can never focus in on one prey because the herd is so big. Everything that passes by they chase, and no one passes by. So they end up catching nothing because they don't know how to focus. I think that's what the Lucy's are doing to humanity right now. Is they're just inundating us with this herd of issues keep a track of. And so I found myself bouncing, and I'll go on this one, and then something will catch my eye, and I'll go on that one. And I realized I'm not getting anywhere. I'm doing these half-assed research efforts, and then I get interrupted by something else. And I realized, oh, they're controlling me again. Damn it, I fell for it. So you really got to, if you're interested in something, you really got to focus on it, and don't let the distractions get to you. And I think it's important now that people listen to their heart right now in humanity. Our brain's got us in a mess. Now it's time to listen to our heart. And so if that herd is passing by, wait until you get a message on which one to go after. I mean, you'll die chasing each and every one that runs in front of you. Right? You just waste your energy.
Yeah, that's brilliant advice. Very, very good. So yeah, intuition going forward. That's your connection to God source. Is going to be very, very, very valuable going forward. I've written a book on that, The Intuitive Warrior, and it's done really well. Again, they've hammered that book. They've hammered the book companies that I started with. They're gone. Took my money with them. Coming. I had fantastic reviews. They sent some people in to give me bad reviews. Kind of sounds like you're getting the same type of stuff. But we're going to prevail, and we're going to win because ultimately we have God on our side. Now, let's say Larry Ellison, let's say there's someone above him well, obviously Lucifer is the one that's top, but who do you think is at the point where, say even Larry Ellison is not, he doesn't have full control. There's a little bit of puppeting that goes on with him. Is there anyone out there that doesn't have puppet strings on them?
Well, they do everything in threes, right?
Right.
30, numbers are very important to them. So they do everything in threes. And under Lucifer, there's going to be 3 direct reports, and we'll never know who they are. And under those 3 direct reports are 3 more. So now you're up to 9. We still won't know who they are. It's when you get to around 27, when you get down to like layer 9, is when we will start recognizing names. And that's kind of where the Larry Ellisons are right now. So there's still, quite a few levels. They may have been in certain sit downs with the man, with the devil himself, but it's not usually the way it works. It's because he is an omnipotent. He can't be everywhere, all over the place. So it's kind of like the way a CEO would run a company. Delegate, and then delegate, and then delegate. But then reward when certain teams have success. So that's why they're constantly battling. So the 3 circles, Lucy China, Lucy America, Lucy Russia, are constantly battling for the number 1 position in Lucifer's kingdom. So a lot of these battles aren't for us. It's like I like to use Game of Thrones as the analogy. All those houses weren't fighting for the peasants. They were fighting for power and control. They were fighting for the gold. They were fighting to be the number 1 in the kingdom. Right? It's the same thing here. And then underneath each one of those, like the Lucy America, there's going to be 3 more groups. So in Lucy America, there's Silicon Valley, DC, and Hollywood, the three main direct reports. And then you can go underneath those. So the reason why Larry Ellison's so interested in Malibu is because his son and daughter are both top Hollywood producers. So that's the technology Hollywood connection. It's been going on for quite a while. Name any movie, any top movie, and one of those 2 are the producer.
Wow.
It's Megan Ellison and David Ellison. And what's interesting is that they're both trannies. The son is a trans man, and the daughter is a trans woman. But then they have to do that. It's part of their androgyne agenda. Part of their religion.
Because isn't Lucifer a trainee as well?
Yeah, I guess. So the legend goes. I really don't know, to be honest with you, but it makes sense that he would be.
Haven't met him, yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Or her, whatever. Him, her.
Yeah. So the way they work it, if you want to move up in the world, you have to either do a blood ritual and have someone close to you assassinated, or do it yourself. And that's what a lot of these Red Scarf suicides and other Charlie Kirk assassinations are about. I'm just using that as an example. I don't know for a fact, but Um, um, sorry, I just heard something. It makes me nervous every time I hear something. Don't keep that waiting for the share.
Yeah, I
very paranoid. But so what was I talking about?
So you're talking about you've talked about this before. These things, have been predicted, and you predicted like a 3. Someone.
Yeah, I was talking about. So if you want to move up, you either do the assassination, and if you can't do that, then you have to raise one of your children as a tranny. And that's why there's so many trannies in Hollywood, because a lot of them don't want to do, and they don't get those don't get that. They get they're A-listers, but they're not the George Clooney and that type.
Right.
So if you look at it, you have to wonder, well, why are so many Hollywood stars raising their kids to be trans? I mean, every man wants his son to be a man, right? I mean,
right.
It doesn't matter how crazy you are. There's too many of them for it to be a coincidence. They're doing it on purpose, and this is the reason why. It's a substitute blood ritual.
Gotcha. So you look at I remember this controversy came up with Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, when you look at when James, whatever was born, they announced that the proud parents of a boy, and then eventually we find out that that's the girl, and so things don't kind of match up there. But I see what you're saying. They don't want to do I've never heard that before, so that's interesting. They don't want to do the sacrifice, so they do a trainee child. Interesting.
So if Sonny and Cher's child, Chastity, the little girl, is a weird example, because she was that child was born a boy. They raised her as a girl to fulfill the requirements, and then later in life, when the child decided I didn't want anything to do with it, went back to trying to be a boy, but is claiming that he's a female transitioning to a male, when really what he's doing is he's a male raised as a female, now coming back out as a male. No telling what they did to him. No telling what kind of surgeries and such that he's dealing with now. But the other thing is, for him to get out, for him to even do that, he had to have Sonny sacrificed. Well, Cher had to.
Here in Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was a great skier, and they found him dead, going in between the trees or something. And there's a total story behind that. So yeah, I think he was executed.
The whole story is bizarre, like they always are, when they do this kind of thing. There's too many holes. And
yeah, and there was talk that he was going to start to reveal on child trafficking or something like that. So maybe, all that stuff is weighed against him. And they're like, okay, we're going to sacrifice him, and then Cher, you get to move up a little bit. Now, so I know of someone that was with Cher and Bon Jovi, and they invited him as a rock and roller. They invited him to a castle in Europe, and they were like, they wanted to have him do the blood ritual. He's like, no, I'm out. And so that really is going on out there.
It really is. And the interesting thing is, like, people, when they read my book, they say the first rape scene. Well, it's not a rape scene. It's consensual. The gravy ritual is not rape. You can leave anytime you want. Anytime you want. But most of the people don't want to. Every A-lister has gone through that.
Yeah, and I know you talk about it in the book. That was one of the first things that basically is a shocker, because everybody's like, oh, you're gonna sell your soul and you write your name in blood, and there you go. Nope, it's done in gravy.
It's a lot worse than that.
So that's a huge reveal for you guys, and it goes deeper after that. So you did a great job, I think, of building your storyline. I loved it. It helped me to understand you more, and what you're about, what you're going through. So that was very, very well done.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So how would you recommend your book now? Because you're like, it seems like every time you come on, we're teasing more and more out there. We're not giving away the whole storyline, because there's sense in that, because you need to. We could talk about the book and you still won't understand it. You have to read it. Yeah.
Right. So I think the book now, when it first came out, it kind of just sat there, and then Epstein Files came out, and then I got on John Pounder's and a couple others, and so people started reading it and took it, got very interested because it's very relevant to today. If I had published this book, 5 years ago, it wouldn't have got nowhere. If I tried to publish it now, they would just call me a copycat. But the timing was damn perfect, and I didn't even plan for it. It just happened that way. But I think now, reading the story, you can skip through the gory parts, and skip through all that you can't read. But you'll get to, at the end of it, you should have a basic understanding of how awful it really is, and what these people are up to and what they're doing. And they're getting away with it.
They really are, and there's no stopping them. It seems like there's all this talk of arrests, and we see arrests. So talk is cheap. Let's see some action. But right. What do you think would happen if they really did start to arrest, like Obama or James Comey or somebody like that?
I'd be very surprised if that ever happened. But if it did, I would be very suspect, and I would really do a lot of digging to find out what's going on. Maybe it's just another one of those passing herds, just to throw us off, make us think that things are going on. But nobody's ever been arrested. Nobody. I mean, every now and then, but not the big names. We need the big names. It's like I'm waiting for that. I've talked to you about the 1, 2, 3 ritual. I'm waiting for the third one, and people have mentioned that. How about this one? It's like, no, because nobody knows who these people are. It's going to be well-known people. And again, it's just that's a ritual, but they will put it out there just to distract us and get people talking, get people scared, and get people suspicious. Cause division, right? I mean, some of us know what's going on. Some of us are clueless, and that causes division.
Right, because there's people that, too many of us, seem to be tapped into what's going on, and they have been saying that the rest are coming. On Nino's show, he's like, they're going to arrest Obama, and then we had Leo Zagami. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's an Illuminati, revealer, and he came on and said they're not going to be arrested, and that sounds like what you're saying as well.
If they, like I said, if they were arrested, I'd be very suspect. It's just a dog and pony show, right? I mean, that would undermine their own cause, and then they might end up with a situation with a whistleblower who can get away with it. I mean, what if they arrested Obama and he started talking?
So what do you think is going to be the thing that really or what are you looking for as far as okay, that's what I'm looking for, and now they're going to be the dominoes are going to start to fall. What do you
I'm waiting for that one thing I was talking about that sort of puts humanity into a jolt hypnotic state. I think that's going to be the next thing. Everything leading up to that will just be, again, the herd, getting us to wear ourselves out, chasing after this, chasing after that, arguing about whether Obama's going to be arrested or not. I mean, that's just to keep us busy until they're ready to do that big whammy, and boom, there we are. Everybody's unprepared. We didn't know it was coming, and now we're so scared. We don't know what to do. Right? It's dark. There's no food. I can't get on the internet. I can't contact anybody. I can't call the cops. I can't turn the lights on. People need to think about that. Okay, what are you going to do? What are you going to do when all of humanity gets into a zombified state? And it's just kind of wandering around trying to, in survival mode, basic survival mode.
Wow.
And if you don't think it's going to come, that's fine, but prepare anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, I've been preparing for years, and the stuff I had to prepare with, I went through it, and I got some more. It's like you're prepared. And
Stay prepared.
You're not in fear, because that'll screw up your intuition. You can't be in fear. You have to be intuitive. You have to be tapped into God. And if you're not, then just a average stupid thing they do to us is going to take you down. So you have to be ready for something that's really critically, like you're talking about. The whole system goes down, or something. Aliens invade, or we have simultaneously we have this new pandemic that's really killing a lot of people. Whatever it is, you have to be ready for something like that, where you might have to be in your home for a period of time, and most people aren't ready for that at all.
No, they're not, and that's worrisome. That's why the more people that read my book, the more people that. I mean, if you read my book, you might stop and think, "But this guy's crazy." But at the same time, I've planted seeds, and you're going to start noticing. Wait a minute, that's what he was talking about. I see it now. I see it, and then might tell somebody else, "Hey, that thing. That's not what you think it is." Right? I mean, that's sort of my hopes.
Yeah, and that was it. I think the last time we talked, I talked on the Pacific Crest Trail, and I got an awakening on the Pacific Crest Trail after working in the military and the CIA for like 35 years, and that world collapsed for me, and I was like, I gotta get out in the wilderness. So I walked the Pacific Crest Trail, and that totally awakened me. That was great. So you were also on the Pacific Crest Trail. You did that as well.
Oh yeah. I haven't done the whole thing, but I've gone from
Mexico?
I've gone from June Lake to Devil's Postpile to Edison Lake, and then I skipped, and I've done some up here, but it's not as nice as California. And then I've done that some way down south, and that was kind of the same thing, not as nice. I really like the California stretch.
That's a long
Devil's
stretch.
Postpile. Yeah. It's like we did I think the most we did was it's like a 19-day hike from June Lake, and it seems like we got all the way to I think it's called Vermilion or something, but it's up there where Lake Edison is, above Fresno. So because when we came out, we got picked up in Clovis, California, which is where I grew up.
Nice.
Yeah, big rancho.
Yeah, I ended up doing a couple miles on it, but the money tree ran out for me, and I had to come back and start working. Bare bones. That's on a stretch of California mountainside is where they try to like heart attack me, and from that point on, I'm like, there was other very mysterious things that happened to me, like I saw like gray aliens that basically levitated me out of my tent and extracted I think probably a device out of me. There's all kind of crazy stuff happening to me. But, there's more to come for all of us. That sounds really crazy for me.
No, that's
everybody experienced stuff like this.
Yeah, it doesn't sound crazy to me at all.
And that's why you're able to write this book, and that's why you're able to reveal on the level that you do. And everyone out there, you're like, well, I don't want to go through what Craig went through. Well, you might. You might. There's very, very possibly you will, fortunately. So that's why we're trying to prepare you, because that's what they want. They want all of us to go through that near-death experience and be fearful, and then they get control of you. So that's ultimately what they want.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But we didn't allow that. We didn't allow that. We went to the good side. That's fantastic. Well, we have big views on YouTube and over on X. Nice views. You're going to get a lot more views when you go over, with Nina. Well, obviously with other bigger groups. But you've already got well over 10% of your goal. I'm looking at it right now. So thanks to everybody that gave, and we'll continue to give. Keep helping, because we're at the forefront. We're helping you to understand what's coming, and not be in fear, and don't worry about what's coming. Don't worry, be happy. Always be happy, and love and so forth. And you're going to get through a lot of this.
As an engineer, I was known as a trailblazer, which meant that I would cut the path, figure out the technology, figure out the system, and then turn it over. And that's kind of the way I feel now. It's like we're trailblazers trying to cut a path from here to, I don't know, salvation, I guess. And that sounds too weird. We're trying to cut a path from here to safety, right? And it's up to everybody else to come behind us and widen that path into a highway.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what's happening. We're definitely having that. That's transpiring right now. So any last words before we sign off?
Nope. Just thank you for having me back. And if I disappear, you know what happens. Right?
Well,
I'm,
we're
yeah,
so excited for you.
I'm not suicidal.
Yeah.
I'm right now. I'm just staying in my studio. I'm not even leaving for a while. Just stay right
Wow.
here. I can do everything I need to do from right here.
Yeah. Good. Good.
Thank
Good
you for
luck
having
on
me.
that show tomorrow. That should be a big reveal, and hopefully they
Thank
don't
you.
show up at your door like they did last time. So we're saying prayers for you. Everybody that is supporting, thank you. The prayers are amazing. It's gonna make a difference. We need a lot of prayers for Craig, so he's definitely blazing some trails for us. So thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. See you guys next time. Vibration. We'll see you guys next show.